You gotta help. My father's been kidnapped.
It's okay. You just need to tell me what happened.
They said they'd be back for the ransom in a few days. If I don't pay up, they'll kill him. But I don't have that kind of money.
Don't worry. I'll get him back.
We asked the Minutemen for help, but I didn't really think anyone would come. Just bring him back safe, okay?
Good afternoon. You're tuned to Radio Freedom, broadcasting across the Commonwealth. Nothing to report. Stay safe out there, everyone.
What the?
Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen.
Stubber! I'll give you that.
Nothing to report.
That was a good one. You have any more stories like that?
How much time you got? That's your limit.
Hell yeah! That's one way to get that.
This is Radio Freedom. All's quiet across the Commonwealth. Stay safe out there.
Still kicking? Jesus.
Doing them much good at this point. Then,
Asshole! Get it! Shoulder roll.
Just getting warmed up over here. My arm!
It's 9 p.m. Nothing to report. Keep it tuned here for updates.
That's it.
Please, you've got to help me.
Don't worry. I'm here to rescue you.
Oh my God, thank you. Let's go.
This is Radio Freedom, broadcasting. This is Radio Freedom. All quiet, which is how we like it. Stay safe out there, people.
I don't know how to thank you for that rescue you pulled off.
Just remember that this is all thanks to the Minutemen.
We know. That's why we've decided to join the Minutemen. You can count on our help if you need it.
Safe place. This was just delivered by a robot. Anybody in the vicinity of
Excuse
Grey
me.
Garden, please go see what they need there.
Did the Minutemen send you?
Yes, I'm here to help. What's going on?
There's a group of raiders that won't leave us alone. Stealing our food and supplies. Threatening us if we can't give them what they want. We know where they're coming from, but we can't stand up to them ourselves.
Don't worry. I'll take care of those raiders for you.
I hope so. We didn't know what to do.
time, boogeyman.
This is Radio Freedom, broadcasting all day, all across the Commonwealth. Nothing to report. Keep tuned here for updates.
Hey!
You were smarter than
Made a big mistake.
one. You walk away.
What the?
You're tuned to Radio Freedom.
Nothing there now.
Probably not.
Nothing to report at the moment. Stay tuned for updates.
Something else.
Found your sorry ass.
Good morning, Commonwealth. This is Radio Freedom, the voice of the Minutemen. All quiet here. Stay tuned for Minutemen alerts. You're tuned to Radio Freedom. Nothing to report. Keep it tuned here for updates.
Did you have any luck with those raiders?
I took care of those raiders for you.
Really? Well, that's the best news I've heard in a long time. By the way, we've talked about it, and we've decided to support the Minutemen. I think it's worth giving it another chance. The only way things will get better is if we stand together.
I've received word from the castle. Apparently, they've spotted hostiles scouting the perimeter. We should go find out what's going on.
I took care of the raiders that were harassing that settlement you sent me to. The people there have decided to join our cause.
That's great news. One day, we'll be strong enough to drive that scum out of the Commonwealth for good. I'll let you know. In the meantime...
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I rescued that kidnapped settler. We've got another settlement on our side now.
Good. Another win for the Minutemen. Keep it up, and pretty soon we'll have the whole Commonwealth behind us.
Good afternoon. You're tuned to Radio Freedom, broadcasting across the Commonwealth. Alert! Alert! One of our settlements is asking for help. All Minutemen, please respond if you're in range.
You're with the Minutemen, right?
That's right. What's the trouble here?
Some raiders have been threatening us if we didn't give them supplies. We told them to take a flying leap now that we had the Minutemen backing us up. But they didn't seem too impressed. They said they'd be back with their friends to make an example of us. We're not soldiers. We're hoping you can help us set up some defenses before it's too late.
Have it your way.
Hi.
We did it! I was afraid we were making a mistake trying to stand up to those bastards, but the Minutemen came through for us.
This is Radio Freedom, broadcasting all day, all across the Commonwealth. Nothing to report at the moment. Stay tuned for updates.
Let me ask you something.
Sure, ask away.
It's just, with everything that's happened with you and your family, it's a whole hell of a lot to process. I wanted to make sure you're holding up all right.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Huh. You're a tougher nut than I thought. Tougher than I was. Took me a long damn time to get a feel for this place. Thank goodness I found Diamond City. It's got its flaws, sure, but it beats the hell out of anywhere else in the Commonwealth. Of course, when I took up there back when, people were just as scared of the Institute as they are now. Maybe more. The massacre of the CPG was still pretty fresh in people's minds at that point, and folks were still losing sleep over the broken mask. Plenty of people assumed I was just a saboteur, moving in to melt down the reactor or poison the drinking water. But at the time, they couldn't exactly turn me away.
Why'd they let you in?
Because I'd rescued the mayor's daughter. Gal of about 15. Pride and joy of the mayor back then. Man by the name of Henry Roberts. The young Miss Roberts decided she'd run off with some caravan hand she'd, known for an evening. Turns out the guy was part of a gang of kidnappers. I didn't even know who I was rescuing, just stumbled on a crying girl and 4 toughs. I took her home and the mayor dubbed me a hero, offered me a place in town. Lots of folks protested, said I was a spy, but he wouldn't have it. Taking up in the city was tricky at first, but I never tried to hide what I was, and people seemed to warm to that.
Was it hard settling in?
Yeah, they sure didn't make it easy. I started off doing the jobs no one else wanted. I got more banged up being Diamond City's handyman than I ever did living out in the ruins. But I guess folks never forgot I rescued the mayor's daughter, so they started coming to me when people went missing. Wife runs off with a new paramour and takes the rent money with her. Talk to the synth. An upset father decides moving him and the kids to Good Neighbor in the dead of night's not the worst damn idea since the bomb. Go get Nick. After a while, the jobs got so backed up, they didn't even ask me to do the handyman stuff anymore. Hell, I was so happy to do it, it was months before I started charging anyone. I never stopped being Nick the Synth, but it was Nick the Detective folks came to see. It was about then that things finally started feeling normal. It took me a long time to realize that home is where you make it. With some time and effort, this place can be home for you, too. That's a long story, but I hope it helps. Want to get moving?
I taught those raiders a lesson. They won't be attacking another settlement again.
That's good. I hope I live to see the day.
I'm glad you're here. It bucks up the troops to see their general taking charge. We've gotten reports of a large group of raiders in the area. I guess they think they can take us. We've called in volunteers, so we aren't short of people. We'll see how these greenhorns do in a real battle. But our defenses could use some beefing up before it's too late.
This is Radio Freedom. Nothing to report. Stay safe out there, everyone. You're tuned to Radio Freedom, voice of the Minutemen. All's quiet across the Commonwealth. Stay safe out there. This is Radio Freedom with a breaking report from the castle. Raiders have been spotted moving on our position from the west. All available Minutemen in the area, please move in to reinforce. We have a swarm of attackers approaching from South Boston. Attackers from the southwest.
Who's there? What the?
Incoming attackers from the southwest.
Sorry you messed with me.
Incoming attackers from the northwest.
Find them!
Incoming attackers from the southwest.
No point in leaving that for the scavengers.
Incoming attackers from the northwest. Incoming attackers from the northwest. Incoming attackers from the southwest.
was a tough fight, but I knew the Minutemen were up to the challenge.
Hi, Ronnie.
We sure showed them what happens when you mess with the Minutemen. I've got it from here, General. I don't think anyone's going to be testing our metal again anytime soon.
I think we ought to talk.
Is something the matter? You sound upset.
What? Oh, no. We've just been traveling a while now, and I figure there hasn't exactly been equitable distribution of information. I've gotten a decent glimpse into your dirty laundry, but you still don't really know a whole heck of a lot about me. I figured I'd offer to balance the board. So, is there anything you want to know?
So who are you, Nick?
That's a question I've been trying to figure out myself for a long damn time. I know I'm a synth. Authentic Institute handiwork. But I'm still mechanical, not bioengineered like the fancy synths giving everyone the willies these days. I get tune-ups now instead of checkups. But my memories, my personality, they're all lifted from some cop who volunteered for an experiment back before the war. They scanned his brain and copied it onto the hardware that runs between my ears. Don't know why they chose to make a robot based on some pre-war cop instead of a math genius or a bioengineer. Hey, maybe that's why the Institute tossed me in the garbage instead of turning me into one of their people snatchers.
That's terrible. They really just threw you away?
Sure did. It was quite the rude awakening. I remember waking up one day in a garbage heap, a body in tatters and a head full of memories belonging to a man who'd been dead for 200 years. Suffice to say, it was a confusing couple of weeks. Folks didn't really know much about synths back then, so when I finally ran into people, they mostly treated me with caution rather than hostility. But the kids, they weren't afraid. I think his name was Jim. The first person to actually speak to me after I got the boot from the Institute. My first human contact in this world. Grilled me for an hour. Once they'd seen I wasn't going to hurt anyone, the other folks in the neighborhood came out to ogle the mechanical man. It eventually turned into a pretty swell soiree. A local mechanic even gave me a once-over, free of charge. Those people, they treated me like a human being. I've been trying to return the favor ever since. It's a surprisingly rare trait out here sometimes. It's something I've noticed you got a fondness for. Part of the reason I've stuck around this long.
If you're good to people, they'll be good back. That's something I've always believed.
Couldn't agree more. Well, I expect you're about as bored as can be listening to me rattle my skeletons. We should probably head out. Hey.
Seems to be growing well. need to assign someone to this.
Biggest town I ever.
I need to assign someone to this. I need to assign someone to this. I need to assign someone to this.
One thing you should know,
assign
Stranger,
someone to this.
don't mess with that old insane asylum. Even the raiders.
I can rest easy knowing that Wolfgang is rotten and
Let's see what you got.
a little bit of everything.
This is Radio Freedom, broadcasting all day, all across the Commonwealth. All quiet here. Stay tuned for Minutemen alerts.
tell us apart.
Hi.
I can rest easy knowing that Wolfgang is rotten.
Let's see what you got.
All salvage.
Uh-huh.
This is Radio Freedom, broadcasting
Well, at least
all
we don't have
day,
to worry
all
about
across
the
the Commonwealth. Any Minutemen in the area. Their settlement has been raided by super mutants. Please respond if you can help.
What are you building?